Our market monitor this week is a stock picker who's finding opportunities in some global names he thinks investors are missing out on and are misunderstood by the markets. He's David Marcus, Chief Investment Officer of Evermore Global Value Fund, up more than 8% this year, beating the market and his peer group. David, welcome back.
Thank you.
You have some international choices here. Do I infer from that that that's because you simply like these companies or because you think non-U.S. markets are better priced than the U.S. market is?
It's both. The fact is that the U.S. market has been hitting all-time highs day after day after day, but that's not the case outside the U.S., especially in Europe. And so you can get global players with huge growth opportunities at value prices by buying ones that are based in other markets, like Europe.
And you are a long-term investor. You look for cheap companies, but some of the stock picks you're giving us have really decent dividends too, but you tend to hold on to your holdings for quite a while.
Absolutely. We're not traders. We are investors. We take a long-term perspective. We don't get rattled by short-term issues with companies. We really take a long-term view because companies that are going through change and transition, it takes time for their value to really get out to the shareholders.
So let's get to your stock picks, starting with Vivendi, a company that is really a media company. NBC used to have a relationship with them. How long? Tell me about it, and how long would you expect to own a company like that?
Okay, so Vivendi is a big media conglomerate. It's based in France, but it actually owns Universal Music, which is the largest music company in the world, which is actually a U.S. business. So they have assets all over the world, and we've owned it already about 4 years. And you still love it? I still love it. It's one of our largest holdings. There's just so much opportunity. It was very undermanaged for many years, and new managers came in, and they've really been restructuring and refocusing. And that's a theme that we absolutely love, which is change that is taking companies that have been mediocre managed and bringing in higher quality managers. So Vivendi is a perfect example.
Your next stock is Marine Harvest. It's a play on change, but dietary change.
Yes. Yeah, so this is the largest salmon company in the world. So the consumption of salmon is growing really exponentially. And so there's not enough fresh salmon out there, so people get it from these large farms. And the fact is you have a 10 PE, so it's 10 times earnings. You have a huge dividend, over 6%. And this is the biggest one, and it swallows up some of the smaller players in the industry.
Where's it domiciled?
In Norway.
In Norway. I'm not stunned to hear that.
I even went to the fish farm to check it out.
My Norwegian. So, okay, there's nothing fishy about that one. Let's move on. Had to. The last one is Scorpio Bulkers. I assume it's a freight company.
Yeah, so this is a dry bulk carrier, and they're moving goods, dry goods, not oil, between basically U.S. and China and back and forth. And the fact is, when China started to slow down, this whole industry was decimated.
Right.
So at that point, we started looking at the carnage, and Scorpio is really a play on a turnaround of one of the best players, but also as global growth starts to materialize again, this is a perfect example.
Very quickly, I just saw that stock has tripled over the past year. It still has room to go?
It does. It's actually our largest holding today, and we are very happy owning it.
Money where your mouth is. David, thanks. As
Thank you.
always, good to be with you. David Marcus with Evermore Global Advisors.